All right, you guys, good to see everybody. I recognize some of the faces, some I don't, so we're growing. It's always good, right? It's like there was a couple that was complaining that their seat or their parking spot in front of the church that they had for years, they could just pull right in there and just walk right in. And then sometime later, the church was growing, and they had to park on the back side of the parking lot, and they were complaining, right? And they go, well, wait a minute. That's a good thing. It's not good when you're just parking at the front parking spot all the time. So it's good to see new faces and welcome. You guys are, as Brent said, the hungry ones that are here to learn about agent attraction. You're in the right room, right? This is not about production. Okay, all right. Agent attraction is going to change your life if you take advantage of it. That's the key. Being in this room is the start, but you got to take action. And a big thing that I come up with is in regards to agent attraction is the why. Why would you do it? Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself that motivated me, that kind of put that fire in my belly to take advantage of EXP when I saw it. I started real estate at 19. Okay, I'm 48 now, so I've been doing it a long time. My parents have been brokers for 50 years. Actually, a little more. They made me cap it at 50, makes them sound too old. So they've been doing it for 50 years. My mom was the #1 selling agent in the late 80s, early 90s in Placer and El Dorado County. You probably wouldn't, you in this room wouldn't know her. Like Brent said, you had superstars, but the ones you remember are the Coldwell Bankers and the Keller Williams and these names that built brokerages, right? Like the Brent Goves, the 20,000 plus agents and so on at EXP. Well, anyway, her best year was 1989, I think. She did 138 transactions, just herself, no team, okay? And if that wasn't enough, there was no digital signatures. There wasn't the smartphones that we have now and the instant communication and texting and all that. Pretty wild. It was her and a part-time assistant. Crazy. I grew up hating real estate because I never saw my mom, right? But I ended up getting involved at 19, and looking from afar, I went, gosh, they're making great money, and thankfully they're do well today because they invested in residential, rentals. But that's the slow game, buying rentals, right? That's your after-tax earned income. Got to put so much money down to make it be a positive cash flow and so on. But I'm getting into real estate and I go, man, you're only as good as your last sale. You're literally on the transactional treadmill. You're only as good as your last sale. And I said, man, if there is a way in real estate where you could have your sales production business, but then also have a residual reoccurring income, so you got your rentals, and then the opportunity to have some additional income come in, that would be amazing. Well, I started at Coldwell Banker, and then this company Keller Williams came around. And Keller Williams had profit share 24 years ago. Bring in the money. After all the bills are paid, if there's money left over, we'll share some of it with you. All right? And I went, hey, that's more than I'm getting at Coldwell Banker. So I did that. And I ended up becoming Recruiter of the Year out of the Roseville office, which was the #1 office in the world at the time in 2004. Sounds great, right? You would think I was killing it. Well, my best year of profit sharing was $19,700. Now, I'm not going to turn away an extra 20 grand, let's say. But when EXP came around, I went, I've kind of been there, done that. I did the KW thing. It's just like that. Thankfully, my partners and friends said, no, don't judge it that way. It's totally different. This is revenue share off the top, not profit share after the bottom. Because there's a lot of finagling that can happen. If some of you, have been in that, a lot of finagling that can happen in the numbers to get down to cut that profit and share, right? Yeah. So I looked at EXP with an open mind. And I went, oh my gosh, this is the ticket. This is the life change. This is the long game that Brent's talking about, right? Production, short game. Only as good as your last sale. Transactional treadmill. Revenue share, long game. So I want to encourage you guys, as being the first speaker, is figure out your why on why you would really take advantage of this opportunity of rev share, because it is a life-changing opportunity. My lovely bride Lexi and I, we just got back late last night from Washington, D.C. We spent a week in D.C. tooling around and traveling around all over Washington, D.C. because we started our own YouTube channel. It's something I wanted to do for 20 years, didn't do it. But finally I said, you know what, done is better than perfect. So we went ahead and launched it. And we saw all the sites and shot all the video and all that stuff for our channel. I would not have had that opportunity because, I'm looking at some faces that have been in the business for a long time. It's hard to get away on vacations when you're producing at a high level, right? Yes or yes? It's hard to get away. And if you're away, you're not really fully present. You got your phone, you got your laptop, I'll write that offer, we got a counter offer and all that stuff, right? I don't think I checked in one time in the full week because our rev share just keeps coming in and it shows up. Now we have rental properties as well, and I want to encourage all you guys, you should be investing in rental properties also. But the revenue share is a life-changing opportunity, and I don't want you to miss it. So I want you to really dive into these speakers today. You're going to get a lot of nuts and bolts and do this and do that, and that's great. Take notes. But the reality is you won't do it if you don't have a clear why or a burning in your gut of what you want. The burning in my gut was I always wanted freedom. I didn't want to be like my parents in that they were only as good as their last sale, even though they were phenomenal and selling at a high level, but they could never get true freedom, right? And that's been the driving force for me, and I would hope for all of you, is to get freedom, because freedom is where you have money and time together, which equals choices. You get to choose, right? We've been invited last minute, hey, come on down here to this location or that location, and we dropped everything, hopped on a plane and went. And we didn't have to worry about, the broken garbage disposal or the seller that's upset that we're not doing an open house that weekend or what have you, right? So now, the first thing that we did, thankfully, and I think it was actually before EXP, was we created margin in our lives. I find, in being in this business for 28 years, realtors don't create margin in their lives. They get started, they make their first couple sales, and money is great. And what happens is they end up spending the same amount of what they make, and now they're making more sales, getting better at their production business, so they get a better car and better clothes and better vacations. And then they're doggone tired from working so hard during the day, they don't want to cook dinner, so they're going to, let's go out, we've earned it, we deserve it, and all that. So they constantly have no margin in their lives. And that's a huge mistake, quite frankly, because what happens is everything, you can do that lifestyle as long as the market is performing or doing right. But as soon as the market goes down, your spending's here, now you're stressed. And there's been a lot of stressed realtors the last year and a half, 2 years, right? Lexi and I haven't been too stressed, actually. Okay, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm hoping that it gives you a little hope of, I should really take this revenue share thing serious. We had a 5-year plan when I saw EXP and joined it. I said, you know what? 5 years, babe, we'll get to a point where we can make some decisions, have some choices. She's an amazing title rep. I don't know if I can say that or not, but one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best title, if not the best title rep in the whole area. So you should check in with her.
You're married to her. She's the best.
She is the best.
In the universe.
Yes. That's true, Brent. Anyway, so anyway, we had a 5-year plan. And we said, okay, we want to be able to have it in 5 years. We have some choices if we want to step away or continue it on. I'm not against work. I actually love to work. But I want to do it on my terms. I want to have the opportunity to make the decisions and choices of what I want to do. So what I would encourage you guys to do when you're having that alone time and taking up Brent on what he said is start really writing down all your expenses. Everything that you spend on a monthly. Do like a 3-month or a 6-month. Everything that you've done the last 6 months, you've spent money on and so on, and go, do I really need this? Is this truly a need or is it a want? And just start labeling things needs versus wants. Because if you want to get free, you have to have less wants in the beginning so that you can then have the ability to do the wants later and not have any stress, right? Like this week trip in DC was a want. It's like, I want to take my wife to DC. I've been, she'd never seen it. She was blown away by DC, right? So I would encourage you to do that. List out your needs versus wants and start cutting some things and get a spending plan. People don't like the word budget, but so we call it spending plan. Every dollar that comes in should have a home, should have a place, okay? So you tithe to the church, or you go and put it in savings, or you map out your bills, pay yourself first, all these things, 10%. Read the book Richest Man in Babylon. It's a great book, so on, okay? And then the other thing is, I find most people that do not earn residual or reoccurring income don't truly have an appreciation or understanding for it. They know of it, they've heard it, and they would say, yeah, it's great. But until you've earned reoccurring residual income, you truly don't know it. And so I want to encourage all of you to really try to grasp and understand the power of reoccurring residual income. What if you could have your car payment taken care of? Now, side note, you guys shouldn't have a car payment, in my opinion. That's a depreciating, it's not even an asset. You should pay cash for it. But anyway, side note, if you do have a car payment, how would it feel to have money coming in every month that car payment's taken care of no matter what? House payment. What if that was taken care of every month? You didn't need to close an escrow or a deal, right, for your car and house. It's taken care of. Your food budget, all that, right? And you start adding on these things, because when you have your list of all the things you've spent the last 6 months and needs versus wants, you can kind of look at it and go, oh, our household, we spend $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever it is. If it, 10, maybe we need to cut it down to 8, right? Get rid of some of those wants. When you get that concrete number, now you can set up a plan through RevShare, and any of the leaders, your success team above you, we can actually sit down and map out and do it just mathematically. Okay, you need this many front line or this many second line, and so on and so forth. And have the plan all mapped out for you, and now you work the plan. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. You're working a plan towards freedom. Right? And that's like what Brent said. How can you have a goal of something you want to do if you don't even have it mapped out or have an idea? All right, so I'll give you a couple nuts and bolts. I don't want to take a ton of time because we've got a lot of different speakers. But you might be going, okay, sounds good. I got all that done. Now I'm pretty excited. I have a plan. I'm kind of fired up. Where do I start? Right? Does anybody have that? Like, where do I start in this agent attraction? Anybody? Right? Like, how do I get going? The first step is you need to make a list of those that you already know or have been in contact with, that you know, like, and trust, and they know, like, and trust you. Typically, it's in your cell phone. If you took the time to save them in your cell phone, I think the story goes, Brent, when he got started, he went through his cell phone of calling all the realtors he had saved. I think he got, was it G or H?
I got to G.
Got to G, right? And he's,
Never passed G.
Never passed G. And he's got the, #1 organization in all of EXP. So pretty amazing, right? So go through your phone and start writing down. And I would encourage you to make a written down. Write it down. There's a power of writing things down the old school way rather than just having electronic. So go through your phone, write it down, and have a list of at least 100 names or more. Longer the list, the more powerful network and business that you will grow. The reason that you want to have a really large list is it kind of makes you bulletproof, actually. What most people do when they get started with some sort of thing that's influencing others to share them, whether it be network marketing or multi-level marketing, is they typically have 4 to 5 names that pop in their head. And they're pretty excited about it. They're like, oh my gosh, Mary and Susie and Joe and so on, right? So then they call Mary, and Mary goes, you know what, we're going through a divorce. It's a tough time. I got to stay put. I can't have more disruption in my life. Okay, Mary's gone. No worries, I got 4 others, right? And then they call Susie, and Susie's like, oh no, I hate the logo. Stupid. Terrible logo. So she's out, right? Then Joe. And for some reason, Joe's not interested. And then pretty soon now, out of their 5, they only got 2 left, and one of them's mom. Right? Mom, I need you to get your license. I need you to sign up. So, and then they don't agent attract. They're like, yeah, it's not for me. That's not my jam. I'm more into, I just want to sell, right? Now, I think, selling's fun. I've done it a long time. There's some reward in selling homes. I'm not here to bag on selling homes. But when you can have the opportunity to transform and change other people's lives by sharing with them an opportunity that helps them build wealth and have multiple streams of income that gives them their time, and their income grows over time, which is what residual income at EXP does, now you've made a huge impact in someone's life. You can impact them by helping them buy or sell a home. And, I've done that for years, and it's great. But it's not as lasting as I've found as helping people bring in. I get these random text messages like, oh my gosh, I just got $1,100 in a screenshot into my account from EXP. What is that? Is that a mistake? Like, can I spend it? And I go, yeah, that's the revenue share. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't really hardly done anything. I go, I know, let's work together and start building that and growing it, right? So, first step is build your list. When you have a list of 100 plus people, you get 3 or 4 telling you no, you got 96 others. You're feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident. Yes or yes? Right? Yeah. All right. And then number 2 is you need to have your 60-second story. This is really important. This is a lost step. I would say it's probably one of the most important steps because you need to be able to have a way to get into having conversation with people. And it's a way that you can somewhat, I hate to say edify yourself, but at least get it to where you can be on an equal plane with your prospect. Like today, I was on the phone with a gentleman out of Washington, D.C. His team does 200 plus million a year. I don't know him from Adam. I called him out of the blue. Side note, I'm not saying you guys need to cold call to build RevShare. There's other ways. You'll hear them today. I happen to be good on the phone. I've done it for years. I don't have much fear in regards to talking to people. I think they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like me. So I called him, and we chatted for probably 20 minutes, okay? And he's got a team and 200 plus million a year that he's doing. And now, truth be told, I didn't book the appointment because he's part owner and all these different reasons. But the reason I was able to get into conversation with him is because of my 60-second story. So, who'd like to role play with me? Okay, Steve. Steve's a beast. This guy's built a brokerage the old-fashioned way, and now he's building it at EXP. All right, Steve, let's role play. So, Steve, you'll be a big-time producer, okay?
Yeah, pretend you're a big-time producer.
You'll have to speak up. Maybe we should get him a microphone or something.
I'll pretend. No,
Okay.
I can do it. I'll allow it.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Steve?
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, this is Mathew Stewart, real estate broker from Sacramento, California. How you doing?
I'm good. What
Good,
can I do for
man.
you?
Good, man. Hey, am I calling you at a good time? You got just a minute or two?
I got just a quick second. What you doing?
Awesome, awesome. Hey, the reason I was calling you, Steve, it looks like you're absolutely a huge producer out there in the Detroit metro area. Looks like you're doing 40, 50 million a year. Is that about right?
Yeah, about 65 actually.
Oh my gosh, my numbers are off. That's incredible. How long have you been doing that type of volume?
Probably the last 10 years.
Oh my gosh, even through the last year and a half or so?
Probably went over a little 100 on the bad times.
Dang, look at you. That's amazing. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, the reason I'm calling, Steve, I want to respect your time. My partners and I are, kind of big-time producers like you out here in the Sacramento area. In fact, we built 10 real estate brokerages from scratch to over 2,000 agents. One of my partners was the #1 realtor in the entire world for Keller Williams for 7 years. And we're basically expanding and looking for other top performers and top producers that we could connect and collaborate with. Are you open to a little bit of collaboration and connection and growing business and so on?
I'm probably open to collaborating, but I'm thinking you might be interested in maybe talking to me about joining your team, and I'm not sure I'm a good candidate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd love to explore that. I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, of course. I would definitely want to align and connect with talent for sure, and you're definitely one of those. Why do you say that you're not a good candidate?
Well, I've got some ownership issues with what I'm doing with the groups that I'm with, and it might be a little difficult to unwind, but actually I'm curious, so what are you talking about?
It's funny you mentioned that. My partners and I, as I said, had a bunch of ownership. We were with Keller Williams. We ended up figuring out a way to sell it and divest it and get out of it completely, and we moved over to a company called EXP. I'm sure you've probably heard of it at this stage of things, huh?
Yeah, I got a buddy, Brent Gove, I knew as a teenager. He's called me a few times.
Oh, yeah. Brent's great. How long ago have you and Brent chatted about EXP?
Last week.
Well, he got the G's in the phone, and I'm H, so I missed that.
Oh, that's right, Hillier. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this: have you ever done an actual, true deep dive of the model with someone that's kind of on the same level of success in real estate like yourself, or has it been more conversational?
frankly, I've not looked deep at it, no.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd love to share with it. What's a good day for you, typically a slow day? Would it be like a Tuesday or a Wednesday?
Let me hold you. I'll give you a couple times, but if we
Yeah.
can do this in like 15 minutes, and if it makes sense, maybe set another appointment. So is that okay with you?
I think that, boy, that is just music to my ears, Steve. I love it. So I don't want to waste your time. I certainly don't want to waste mine. So why don't we do that? I'll book it because my Calendly only says 30 minutes, okay? But if we're bored at 15, we can end it there. How's that?
That's fair.
All right, sounds good. And then I book the appointment, okay? So, but if you notice, the 60-second story was weaved in there about my partners. And again, if you're like, well, that's great for you, Matt. You're a broker. You've been doing it since 19, blah, 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 okay? But the reality is you all have partners in EXP, whether it be above or side or whatever. Remember, we're all stock owners in EXP. So you can say that they're your partners. You could use me as your partner. Tom Dave's #1, that's who I was talking about, by the way. Tom Dave's #1 KW agent in the world 7 times, okay? You can use him. He go, one of my partners at EXP, #1 agent in KW, 7 times, right? So don't feel like, oh, well, I need to go do icon volume before I could talk to an icon producer. Has nothing to do with that. In fact, they could care less what type of volume you're really doing. Humans naturally are pretty selfish. What's in it for me? Like, that's all they want to really know. How's this going to help my family and so on, right? So get your 60-second story down, and if you need help with it, get with some of those in the room, like myself, Clark Broom, Marguerite. Who else? We got, there's one other person I know. Anyway, we're all part of Attract Boss, which is a coaching platform for agent attraction, okay? And then the last 3, because I see Brent standing up. He's like, all right, we got to keep it moving. Scripts, you need to know your scripts, okay? And then you need to learn how to be able to present, use a tool, use a video, right? TheModelExplained.com, let it do the work for you, because that's duplicatable, right? And then you want to have some sort of follow-up system to stay with it. So anyway, hey, thanks for having me up here today. All right, I appreciate it.
So good.